Now is the congressman from that district, from Athens, Georgia, Congressman Mike Collins. He represents, as I mentioned, that area in and around the University of Georgia. Congressman, thanks for being with us here on the. Joining us now is the congressman from that district, from Athens, Georgia, Congressman Mike Collins. He represents, as I mentioned, that area in and around the University of Georgia. Congressman, thanks for being with us here on the Hill. Terribly sad for your community and for those who know Lakin. I'm wondering, as you sit here and you try to figure out the way forward and what's next, who you've talked to in Washington about this and what you've heard.
Well, you know, this is a gut-wrenching situation. It's something that shouldn't have ever happened. What we have is illegals crossing this border, our southern border, at record pace, and they are moving into these sanctuary cities, and they're conducting crimes, and then once they get caught, instead of turning them over to ICE, they're moving on to other sanctuary cities, which is what happened in this case. I mean, this guy just got arrested for shoplifting, but nothing was done to him. And this is the type of things that we have got to stop, and the Biden administration could stop this in 5 minutes. Joe Biden has the necessary means to do that. But when he came into office, the first thing he did was just totally anything that President Trump did as far as executive orders, he reversed them. And that included that southern border down there. And we were just down there 3 weeks ago. And Blake, I'm going to tell you, the section that we were at in Arizona is where criminals cross that border every day, all day. And we had a hearing, and I was sitting there looking across the room at families. And those families were worried. They were worried about their lives, their kids, their grandkids, because the people that are pouring across that border down there are not here to become good citizens.
You just talked about sanctuary cities and then also name-check Donald Trump and the Biden administration. So let me ask you about both. State Senator Jason Estevez, a Democrat in your state locally. Here's what he said. He said, quote, Laken Riley's family deserves space to grieve without being used for cheap political points. Those who bring up border security should take that up with Trump, who recently whipped Republicans in D.C. into shelving a bipartisan border security bill. What would you say to him?
Well, first of all, that was not a border security bill and not anywhere near it. But let me ask you this. We passed H.R. 2 290 plus days ago. It's been sitting in the Senate. Now, if the Senate was serious about anything, which they're not, they don't take up anything that we send over there. They use everything and every opportunity as a political pawn, just like they did this one. They could have taken up H.R. 2. I haven't seen them mark it up. I don't think anybody has. Mark it up, vote on it, vote it down, vote it up, put it into conference. We know that there are some places you can compromise a little bit on, but this was a pure border bill to fix that border down there, and they have not touched it. So you cannot come in here saying that we didn't have a bipartisan or any effort to fix that border.
And you mentioned sanctuary cities, Congressman. Athens, that area, that county, Clarke County, the Clarke County Sheriff Ira Edwards, back in 2018, that was 5-6 years ago, declared that area would be a sanctuary city. What's the state got to do about it? Because, you know, Republicans, you've got a Republican governor, Republicans in the House and the Senate. I would think if you want to do something about that area being a sanctuary city, potentially you could. Is there anything you could do about it, and what might that be?
Sure there is. And I know that the state legislature is working on that hard today, and they should have some bills out this week that I know they're pushing through the rules committees as we speak. And Georgia, it's illegal to have sanctuary cities. The problem is we don't put enough teeth into the bills that we have passed. So they need to go back in there and make sure that there are true penalties when these local law enforcement agencies are not reporting these illegal aliens when they come in and they commit crimes. That's the first thing they need to do here in Georgia.